on the other side of the street.
Hello, dear friends. A warm welcome to each one of you out there. Today, we invite you to the International Fabtalks. We have a special guest and celebrity, that is Mr. Matt Perelstein from California, USA. Am I right?
Yes. Yes,
Thank
that's
you,
correct.
sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation once again to be here and to empower us, to make us aware of our emotions. My dear friends, I'd like to introduce you to our special guest and celebrity. It's Professor Matt Perelstein. He's appointed as a professor in one of the best universities in Hyderabad, that is the Quotient University. Apart from that, sir has an organization called as the EQ for Peace, where he concentrates on giving importance to your emotions, how to balance your emotions, how to overcome the negative emotions in your life. And today he's here to empower and educate you and educate me and our guests on how to deal with our life, how to acknowledge our emotions and get to know ourselves better. So here, let's go ahead and find out how Sir could empower our lives. Yes, sir. We thank you once again for being on the International Fabtalks.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrea. It's very good to be here. I appreciate it. And this is a very important subject, so I'm glad we're talking about it again. Still, probably will the rest of my life.
Yes, sir. We know you're very passionate in helping others, in creating awareness that you acknowledge your emotions. Dear sir, we've seen several people across the world, especially the teenagers, the youngsters, unable to identify their emotions. How would you try to help them out in this session to identify their emotions and to acknowledge them, to, feel that they're unable to feel and let out their emotions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's sadly, that's true. There's a lot of problems going on. It's bad and getting worse, in my opinion, emotionally, just like you said, because it's a lack of education. Kids don't know about it. The adults don't know about it. Nobody seems to know about it. And if those who do know about it don't want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, and emotions can be very painful, and people are used to avoiding them, not dealing with them. They're trying really hard to avoid them and not deal with them. And that doesn't work very well, actually, it turns out.
Yes, sir. So we've seen parents who are unable to identify and, check on the emotions of their children. They think if they give their children good food, good clothing, toys, and the work is over of parenting. But actually, the real work of a parent is to identify your child's emotion, to identify the inner well-being of your child. What would you like to share on this, sir? How parents should carry out themselves with regard to the emotions of their children?
Very good point. I would first say find out about yourself. Well, first is awareness, like you were just saying. So awareness means there's a problem, and that if you don't know what you're feeling and you don't know what your kids are feeling, and you're not talking to your kids about their feelings, that, in my opinion, is a problem. It's a crucial missing piece, like you said, to parenting. It's a huge part of the whole thing. There's the food, air, and water, and safety, and having the roof over your head. Definitely do that. Please do that. Make sure that happens. But right after that, right after those is, are you okay? How do you feel? What are you doing? What's happening inside of you? How are you handling life? And do you need somebody to talk to? Can I be safe for you? How can I be there for you? What do you need? Let's talk. Let's deal with some of this stuff. And that's where you get closeness, and that's where you can really, really help your kids so much.
Yes, sir. That's really nice, sir. So we've seen many of the individuals out there, irrespective of which country they belong to, suffering from emotional abuse. And it's not just only a short period of time. Many of them have suffered from ages, you could say decades of emotional abuse, and still they are in that relationship. What advice or what suggestion would you like to give to such individuals who are stuck up in an emotionally abusive relationship?
Wow. We're going for all different subjects today. Okay. Abusive is kind of a weird word because that's your opinion on it. And so maybe it is, maybe it's not, maybe it's difficult, maybe it's painful sometimes. Abusive kind of implies that it's done on purpose, that people are parents or in relationship are kind of trying to hurt you, and they're okay with that, which is not okay, of course, but they're okay with that. And so there's first is the definition of what is abusive and what's just difficult. Sometimes kids say their mom says, you can't go to this. I'm not letting you do this, or I'm not letting you go hang out with these kids. And they go, oh, I'm being abused. Oh, poor me. You're mistreating me. And that's not true, right? It's not. That's called parenting sometimes. And so the identification of what's actual problem and what's not a problem is part of it. And then secondly, I think what you were asking was about people who are in a relationship and one of them is getting abused. You're talking about a couple's relationship, right? Not a parenting one. Okay. Because as a kid, sometimes you don't have much choice, but of, how your parents are going to treat you, you kind of, you really are a victim until you're an adult, when you not a victim anymore. But in couples relationship, it seems that it ends up being, is it more important or more scary to leave? Is it more important or more scary to leave? And so people that are really getting abused, and it's gotten over the edge, and they have got to the point where they're like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Then it becomes more important, and it doesn't matter how hard it is. They're out of there, and that's tough. That's a tough place to be. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength and a lot of fortitude and a lot of grit. We call it grit, which is, this is really hard. And here I go, right? And so that's a tough thing. But what you're talking about, I think, is more of the people that stay, which is most of the time, especially as it turns out. My wife was worked for domestic violence and sexual assault crisis center. And so we know a little bit about this, and I was a volunteer there as well. And mostly it's women, and the women stay, and they'd stay and put up with abuse. So because they don't have anywhere to go, or they don't have a very other good choices. So in that case, wow, that's tough. That's another tough. It's a different kind of tough. It takes similar grit and similar resilience and similar courage to stay as it does to go, it turns out. And you gotta, there's the tipping point of where you got to,
So I guess we have a technical issue from your side, Mr. Matt.
What?
There's a slight technical snag at your end, I guess. We're unable to see you, sir. We are unable to see you. We are unable to hear you as well.
Please.
My dear friends, there's a slight technical snag at sir's place. Let's wait. Yes, sir, back again. That's really nice. But there was a slight technical snag. That's nice to have you back again. That's really nice. Yes.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yes. So we go on with the next.
We live in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and we don't. Internet is always an issue. What? Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I was just saying our internet is an issue. One of my biggest struggles in my life is having good internet. And,
yes. Yes, sir. It happens sometimes. Yes, sir. Dear sir, we've come across people who want help. They want to reach out to the right people when they are suffering emotionally. And many of them would love to reach out to you because you have this, an organization called as EQ for Peace. If people would like to reach out to you, Mr. Matt, how do they reach out to you, and what are the ways that you could contribute to their emotional well-being?
Well, the best thing is to learn about yourself, because even, therapy is a lot of education, and education can be therapeutic. So in my opinion, the very first step is awareness, and that's about being aware of what's going on, what emotions are going through you, what they're called, how to accept them, how to identify them, how to take responsibility for them. That's a huge part of this whole thing, etc. So to me, the first step is always education, and that starts with awareness. So education first.
That's great, sir. That's really nice. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, if they want to reach out to you, how do they reach out? If they want help from you, if they want guidance from you?
Not really available one-on-one or for guidance kind of thing. So that's why I was saying that we have tons of videos and PowerPoints and trainings and audio and all kinds of different ways of training people how to manage their emotions. Just reaching out to me personally probably isn't going to go very well because I'm so darn busy. I can't do that very well. So we're not, but I do have some programs. We know other people who you can reach out to. Some are cost and some don't cost. And so we have some resources for you that we could offer other than me personally. So there's a lot of choices. And
yes, sir. We know that you are one special individual who has the knack of making people aware of their emotions. You have a few techniques, you have a few methods to make people aware that these are your positive emotions, these are your negative emotions. When you face such emotions, this is what you have to do. Would you like to share some of your tips and techniques with us, sir, such that it could benefit all of us?
Okay. All right. Like I said, awareness first, always. So we have a number of it's about being able, we call it name it to tame it. So first being able to identify what is it you're feeling? What are the choices? We have a bunch of graphics with like different feeling faces: happy, sad, grumpy, happy, what is it? Mad, sad, and glad. What are you feeling? Mad, sad, or glad? And so first is identification. Second is acceptance, about going, okay, I understand, I'm okay, I feel what I feel, and I know what I feel, and I'm okay with that, as opposed to denying it and pushing it away and lying to yourself about it, kind of thing. And then some of the choices, there's a lot of choices. Once you can take responsibility and you're aware of what's going on, there are a lot of choices. And I think that's what you're asking. There's about you dealing with it yourself, meaning you write about it, you record your voice or do a video and talk to yourself, to kind of like we're doing right now, but you don't need anybody else to do this, and you just get it out of your system. You talk about it, and even to yourself, even just to yourself. There's an exercise we have called the empty chair exercise, where you put a chair next to you, an empty chair, and imagine the person you're upset with is sitting in that chair. You stand up, they're sitting down, and you can say whatever you need to say. Say it, get it out of your system. The person that you're upset with doesn't need to know that you're upset with them ever, if you don't want them to. But you don't have to carry around a bunch of pain inside your body. You can express it and let it out of you, and it doesn't have to be onto them. You can imagine it, but you don't have to have it onto them. So you can do things yourself. You can dance it out. You can sing it out. You can scream it out. You can cry it out. You can punch a bag or something, or clay or something. You can swim. You can do physical activity and what works with some of that stuff, by the way, is being intentional about it, meaning I am doing this so that I will feel better, so that I can get this energy, this pain, my fear, anger, or sadness, probably some combination of those three. If I can get those out of my system, then I don't have to carry them around anymore, and your body is really going to appreciate it. So there's a whole bunch of things you can do if you are intentional. If your intention is to get it out of your system, to vent it out of you, to express it and let it go, rather than holding it inside and letting it stew around and do all this stuff that it does to our body and make us stressful and make us anxious and make us fearful and that kind of thing. We can keep it in there, or we can release it. So it's about in many ways, it's about releasing it on purpose, And then, of course, if you have help doing that, it's easier with someone else, but it's tough sometimes. It's not, you don't always have somebody to talk to. So, but that is not an excuse. That might be reality, but it's not an excuse to go, oh, I'm stuck here. There's nothing I can do. There's nobody I can talk to. No, just say it. Get it out of you. And you don't have to have somebody there, really.
That's really nice to share all of that. So that was so, in an energetic way, in a very positive way, you put it. Let it out of your system. Do not trap your emotions. Let it go. You swim, you jog, you scream, you dance, you shout. Do something, but release that, that negative power within you, that negative emotion within you.
Let it flow and then let it go. Right?
Let it flow and let it.
Wonderful. Or get in, get it out, and get on. I like that one. Get in, get it out, and get on.
Wonderful.
Let it out of you. It doesn't have to be on someone else. But people, oh no, I can't do that because that's going to hurt somebody's feelings. They don't need to know. It's up to you. You're the one carrying around the pain. And if you don't want to carry it around anymore, sometimes it's really, really helpful to express it out of your system and then release it, then let it go, and then you can fill back up that space that you released. There's often a space inside of you where you were carrying that. It's kind of weird, but it's true. And you can fill back up with positives, with good, with you can talk to your higher power, or you can get some color or a sound and fill your system up with positives. So you can actually transform your negatives by letting go of them and then fill back up with positives. And that's called positive mental health. It's a beautiful thing. And it's free, 100% totally free.
Great. That's really nice, sir. So sweetly you put that up. And, you have that intellectual ability to share with us how we should deal with our emotions, how we should take care of ourselves. Even if the person is not in front of us, we need not really have the person in front of us who we want to let out our emotions to. We can just keep an empty chair and, let it out over there and feel good. That's wonderful, sir. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Yes, sir. Is there any other
actually, how well sometimes.
Pardon?
It's so simple, and it's so simple sometimes. It's kind of magical. It's so simple, but it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that at all. Some of this stuff is really hard to do, but it's real simple, and it's very inexpensive. It can be completely free, and it's very effective. It seems too simple sometimes. People are like, come on. And you go, yeah, well, try it. And you'll see what I mean.
Yes. Yes, I've heard this, like sometimes the change in climate affects one's moods and emotions. Do you have something to share on this? Automatically, they become depressive, dull. They wouldn't like to communicate with others. So any suggestion for such people?
I've had that experience. Where we live, it's very rainy. It rained all day yesterday, and it's probably going to rain today again, and it rains a lot. And in this season, in the winter time, late fall and winter, and people do get dark and pull down, and more toward depression. It's easier to get depressed. You're closer to it already, kind of thing, and that's real. But we can feel. What I've been working with people lately is about the difference between your physical feelings and your emotional feelings. They're different. And they do not have to go inside. They do not have to go together. For example, you can be in pain. You can be sick and in pain and not be upset about it. You can, those are different. You get to choose. One you may not have much choice, and you may be trying to do what you can to deal with the physical pain, right? But while you're doing that, you have thoughts and feelings that you just also need to deal with. And so you can get upset about being upset, or you can be upset about being in pain or not. And the difference is, we call it suffering. If you want to suffer and go, this is so bad and this is so awful and poor me and this blah, 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 blah. You can do that if you want to. That's what most people do with their pain and stuff, but you don't have to. I have had times where I was very, very, very uncomfortable physically, but I don't have to be upset about that. That's how it is. That I can't necessarily stop it right now. And I don't have to let it ruin my day. I don't have to let it ruin my attitude or my mood or cause a bunch of negative emotions. So that's optional. I choose to feel more positive. I can be more loving and that sort of thing with if I want to. It's up to me. So that's what we call emotional responsibility. And that is that our thoughts and feelings are ours. All of them. Nobody makes us feel anything. Nobody makes us angry. Nobody hurts our feelings. We do that ourselves. And that's a good news, because that means it's the best news, actually, because that means I'm in charge of me. I'm in charge of my world, my inner world. That's a huge, 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 huge thing. It was total life changer for me when I first found that out. I was like, what? I thought for sure it was my parents or the economy or my boss. And I'm like, oh man, I sure wish they would change so I could be okay. You know, they're treating me badly. I wish they'd change so I could be okay. They probably aren't. First off, they're probably not going to change. And second, it's not up to them. It's not about them. They're just doing what they're doing. I'm in charge of me. And if it's depressing out, if it's dark out, if it's, back to your question, if it's yucky outside, all right, it is. So what are you going to do with that? What thoughts and feelings are you going to do with that? You want to keep having dark thoughts because it's dark out? You can, or consciously find some positive, find some light, turn more lights on, or make it warmer, or take a bath and warm yourself up, and have people have extra lighting that they could do sometimes is in the darker months, and so make it brighter or something. Do for yourself. Have videos or watch things on TV or whatever that are brighter and lighter, and it helps your mood and encourages you.
That's really nice, sir. Thank you so much for sharing all of that, which was really very useful and very helpful to each one of us. It will definitely benefit all of us. Much appreciated, sir. Thank you so much. Dear sir, would you enlighten us on any techniques on how to emotionally heal? Could you speak something about emotional healing?
Yeah, that's my specialty. Yeah, absolutely. Or that's what all this is based on. Actually, all this is based on. And healing means that you have negative emotions inside of you, right? And you don't want them in there anymore. And so you somehow manage to deal with them, and so they turn into positive emotions, right? Is that what does healing mean to you? How would you define healing?
So, like, you try to understand that you're under some emotional stress and you would want some help, some type of, to identify your emotions and to follow the right method to, channelize the emotion in the right way. What are the techniques, if you could share with us on, healing ourselves?
Okay, well, that's... All right, I'm being picky here, but I'm going to give you a hard time. Analyzing the emotions is helpful. It's not the end. It's only the beginning. That's the beginning of healing, in my opinion. Healing is not about just going, oh, I feel bad, because a lot of people are like, no kidding. I know that part. That's awareness. That's the first step. I know I feel bad. What do I do about it? That's where healing comes in. So again, acceptance, awareness, acceptance, action, and the actions are, like we were talking about, is about, in my opinion, I'm not saying that we always do it this way, and I don't even always do it this way, is feel it to heal it. Feel it to heal it. You can't always do that. You can't always go around and feel to the depth that you feel everything that you feel. You wouldn't get anything done. You wouldn't be able to function. You'd just be a mess on the floor, right? You'd just be, but sometimes with big emotions, and especially ones that are based on stuff that happened in the past, especially when we were kids, but big stuff that stuck with us over time, that kind of stuff, in my opinion, is one of the most powerful things you can do, is to allow yourself to feel that. Allow yourself to go back there, experience what you probably as a child felt, at the time, not what you feel now and not what your opinion about it and your judgments about it and all that stuff, but what you actually felt as the kid when it happened, because that's a lot of time, that's what gets stuck in your body. And then you let yourself feel that, and then let that go, because that is where it started. That's where things get stuck inside of you, not what you're doing with it now, but what it was like back then. And so again, I think awareness is the first step to that, being aware of it. And we have worksheets, and we have a bunch of information on that subject, because one of my favorites, and it's about figuring out inside of us what we thought and what we felt, both when trauma happened as a child, when things happened to us, not necessarily as a child, just any time in the past. It might have been 15 minutes ago, but it got stuck in there. And what did you decide? What do you think? What thoughts did you come up with? What did you decide about your life in general as a result of what happened? And what did you feel about that? What feelings got stuck in there? So like something real bad happened, you go, oh, the world is not safe. I'm not safe anymore. That's a big, nasty generalization. I call it big, nasty generalization about world is not safe. That's a thought. And I decided that about that. So that we got to identify that and work with that. Do you want to is that way you want to be? Because that thing happened to you. Do you want now every day that you get up and you walk outside and you go, oh no, life is not, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to talk to people. I'm scared because this thing happened. And so the world is scary, right? From now on, is that how you want to live your life? I don't. I would rather say that thing happened and that was scary and it was awful. And I felt all these things about it. So I need to deal with those feelings about it. So those, watch out for your big generalizations. We call them meanings or belief systems, and then also deal with the feelings about it. Some bad really happen. Fear, anger, sadness, chances are resulted of that, and we can let ourselves feel those things and let them out of our system. We don't have to carry them around anymore.
That's really great.
Thoughts and feelings, IQ and EQ, left brain and right brain. Deal with the whole thing.
Wonderful. So you're a brilliant master in, the EQs. I call you an EQ specialist because you have that control and command in sharing the thoughts and views on how we can, take care of our emotions, how we can let go of, the pent up emotions within us. That's really wonderful, sir. So I would like to ask you this with regard to senior citizens. Is there any technique that you would like to suggest for the senior citizens to face the emotional challenges that they face at that given age?
As of about 2 weeks ago, I officially in the U.S. government designated I am a senior citizen, so I can dig it. I are one now. So at 63, you become a senior citizen here. Anyway, 63 and a half, I think. So it's not that much different, really. Same basic concepts of taking responsibility for it. One of the things that I have trouble with talking to senior citizens usually is they have it in their head that they are fine, that they are doing what they're doing, and they've always done it this way, and that's just who I am because we've been doing it for a long time, right? That's who I am. That's how I roll. That's how I function, right? And they're often have no room for growth or awareness. They're not in what we call learning mode. There's a fixed mindset, which means I already know everything I need to know, and there's a growth mindset where I'm opening my head and my heart to new information. So first thing I think when I think of senior citizens often is open up and allow some new information. You don't know everything. Just because you've been doing it for a bunch of years doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's helpful. It doesn't mean it's not hurting you. That it might be messing you up in a lot of ways. And there's all kinds of things you don't know about emotions. You'd be surprised. You think you got it all figured out. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. So that's my first thing. And then secondly, there's stuff like end of life things. There's our body's falling apart and we're getting older and we can't do a lot of stuff. So there's ego involved. There's our friends are dying more often, more and more, going to more and more funerals because the people that I'm the same age with are getting older now, 60, 70, 80 years old. My mom just passed away a couple months ago, and she was 87. My dad's 88 now. I've been work with him, but he's going slower, so he needs more help and la la la. But the problem is that our friends, our people that we hang out with are going to be dying more often. And so we got to deal with that. We got to deal with our sadness. We got to deal with loss. We got to deal with our ego. Like I was saying about, we can't do all things that we used to give ourselves. We used to validate ourselves that we were cool and we could do this and this and this. Well, maybe not so well anymore, or not so much anymore. So we got to find different ways to be valuable to ourselves, and to society, in my opinion. And there's so much, so many senior citizens have so much wonderful information inside of them. Some of the things they have learned about their lives, I would love to hear it. How'd you do that? How do you manage? What are you good at? Teach us, show us how to do it before you're gone. And when you're gone, it's gone, right? Write it down or do it a video or talk to us. Or I want to know what you learned that could be helpful to us. So
that's really nice. Yes, that's really nice. So I have a question like this. Now, when you're emotionally drained and you want to heal, and if you spend some time in nature, would that be an appropriate thought process for you to take a walk into nature and calm down your emotions if they are negative and come back re-energized? Absolutely. Would you like to share some points on that?
Sure, that's one of the better ones, actually, and it's usually free. It's same kind of thing, right? That's a wonderful way to do it. I was just laughing because we have nature. We live in the woods in the middle of nowhere. We don't have any neighbors around us. We don't have any fences. We have 2 big dogs, and we don't have any fences because they can run whatever they want to. So there's a tree about 8 feet from the window right there, a 100-foot tree right there, right on the other side of the window right there. And so we live in the nature. And so go out there. Yeah, go out there. Go outside. And when you do that, again, intentional, not intuitive, meaning if you just walk outside, you go, okay, I'm going to go out and walk and feel better. And then I come back and I don't feel any better. Why? Because you didn't try to feel better while you were out there. While you're out there, be intentional. Okay, my intention is to change the scenery. My intention is for this stuff, this pressure that's pushing down on me when I go outside, to actively let it go. Feel spread up like this, especially when you go, right, when we're inside, there's always a roof, and so it's stopping you. But when you go outside, I always feel a release of pressure, of limits, because it can get, it doesn't stop. It goes up in the sky as big as you can get, and trees are up there and you can release. So it's about being intentionally letting things off of you, or as you take steps, you drop little bits of it behind you as you go, right? But to be intentional about it, do it on purpose. And then chances are much better that you will feel better when you're done. You go, okay, I'm going to go back inside. I'm going to face this again. I feel a little bit lighter. I let go of some of this stuff, and now I can press on. Now I can deal with a little more. So I fill up with the nature and who your higher power or God's way of, whatever, however your belief is, that how did trees happen? They're about as magical as you can get. Trees are unreal, right? They're incredible what they do by themselves. We didn't do them. They're doing it by themselves. And so if you can grasp that and bring that kind of wonder and purposefully positive energy inside of you, woo, yay.
That's really nice. Thank you, sir, for sharing all of that. I have another question, sir. If you don't mind, I just ask you another question. There are many of the young teenagers and as well as the senior citizens who say that, yeah, if we have a pet, that could help us to balance our emotions. So having pets has a positive impact on one's life and to balance their emotions. How would you try to share this with us, sir?
All right. Well, we have 2 dogs, 2 big dogs. They're very happy when I open that door and let them in here. So we have 2 dogs and a cat. I think they're wonderful. They can be a drag. They can cause you more pain and more expense and more hassle and that kind of thing. So that is a thing, but same with people. But they can also be kind of magical. I mean, cats are the most accepting, most amazing ability to accept. They accept us. They're excited to see us out most of the time. They're companion. They will let you touch them. They come and touch you. You can be there. You have somebody to be with. They're great listeners. If you want to vent, there's one of the ways. Yeah, they're great listeners. They have no judgment whatsoever. They're just like, really? You go, yeah, this is da 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 da. They go, right? Anyway, pets can be a magical emotional skill, emotional tool, if you will.
That's really
nice. You can even talk to your fish. If you want to tell them what's going on.
Wonderful. Dear sir, we'll have 2 more questions and we'll end the session. We'd like you to let us know about your journey as a professor. We're really enlightened and delighted to know that you are a professor and you're taking classes at Quotient University. Would you like to share anything of your experience over there?
Yeah, it's a little bit bizarre because I didn't apply for the job. There was no job. They wanted me to work with them, and so all of a sudden I got a letter in the mail and said, we're hiring you as a professor, okay? And here's the I was like, really? Okay. So that was pretty cool. So I'm called a professor of practice, which means a real professor or normal professors went to school and learned how to, probably have PhDs and did the academic way. I did not. A professor of practice means that they like what I know about emotions and they want me to teach it. Boom, like an X-ray technician or somebody that's a very good tradesman. They might become a professor to teach other people. It doesn't mean they went to school for a long time. It means they've been doing it for a long time and they know how to do it. And so we want to hear about that. So that's more for me. I don't have any classes like that are for credit. I don't have any credit classes. So it's kind of weird because I have to market whatever if I'm given a class, I need to have people come to it. So we need to market it. It's more like workshops than actual credit classes. So maybe next year, maybe when develop a little bit of curriculum and such that I'll become an actual where there's credit classes, but not yet.
That's really
but
nice.
It's still been helpful there. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Feels good.
Yeah, that's really so nice of you for sharing all of that. In fact, you have a lot of knowledge, and I love the word professor of practice. That's it's not theory that we require. We need the practical aspects, and you have all of them within you, sir. And that's what we are looking forward to. So what, have you ever tried to come to India? Have you ever made an attempt or did you travel to India anytime?
Yeah, we were there in 2019, right before COVID. We flew into Delhi, and then I was a keynote speaker at a international peace conference in Chandigarh. And so we did that. And then we went to Nepal and I did another conference and I'd never been there either. And then we went to Istanbul on the way home, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I was in India for about 5 days in Chandigarh mostly and the Delhi airport.
That's
so twice. So it was an amazing experience though. We had a wonderful time and you guys are so neat, so open. That's what I like about it. It was so open and so gracious and loving as far as just welcoming us as a friend or as a guest. We got to stay in people's houses and it was pretty cool. I was impressed. I don't know that people in the United States are as open and accepting as you guys are.
That's really nice to share with us, sir. That's nice. What if, again, somebody invites you to India? Would you be able to come?
Yeah, yes, now I can. I couldn't before, but yes, I could. And I very much want to. We were going to do a conference in November and it didn't work out. And I was really disappointed because I was expecting to be there now. Actually, right now I would have been there. But it didn't work out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having it. I'm looking forward to have a good enough excuse to come. Let me put it that way, because I would very much like to. And there's a lot of people who want me to come. So I need a good excuse.
Yes, we'd love to have you here in India, share some time with us and to get to know you more better, to understand, how your technique works and how you, share all of that about emotions, how you would love to empower people. We'd love to have a very practical session with you right in front of us. That would be really nice. As it is, you're doing a lot of justice online, sharing your thoughts and views and your techniques and how one should overcome their emotions, how one should heal from, the emotional disturbances that are within them. So we really appreciate you for everything that you have done till date, sir. That's really very nice. Thank you very much, sir.
I don't know why I was somewhat chosen to share this stuff. I've been doing it my whole life. I love it and I'm interested in it, and I need it too. I've been doing it for me, but I feel like I've been, I don't know, somehow my destiny or whatever, you call it whatever you want to, but this is what I do for fun. This is what I do with my life, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. Yes. And it feels good. It feels right. It makes sense, and it feels good. Both sides balance, which is cool.
Yes. So, I guess thank you. You are a healer. You're a healer in your own right. You
try to be
healing power within you.
Most people don't know they don't know this stuff, and I'm just telling them, and that's it. That's, if they use it or not, it's up to you, and it's free, and you can use it or not. It's your information. Good luck.
Yes. I find you have that healing power within you. When we talk to you, we are self-energized. We start feeling good. Our inner being is in peace. Getting to know how, no, don't take anything too serious. Let it go. Let it go. Release it. That's really nice.
There you go. Beautiful. Exactly. Well put, Andrea. Let it go.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. Thank you so much. That's really nice. Thank you so much. Stay blessed and stay connected. We'd love to have you on many more Fab Talk shows. Thanks for your time. Much appreciated.
Great. All right.
Lots of love from India and across the world. Thank you.
Bye, all.
Bye-bye. Thank you, sir. Thanks. My dear friends, with this, we end the International Fab Talks. We had a good session with Matt Perelstein about emotions and how to take care of our emotions. And let's go ahead, stay safe, and take care of our emotions. Stay blessed. And good night, India, and good morning, America.